Hi. Sorry if my hair looks like crap. Today is October 27th. First of all, I want to apologize for not making any videos over the past week and a half. It was really hard for me to make videos. I just got out of a rhythm and I didn't really want to make videos. I kind of do that. When I start something, I go really hard at it for a couple weeks and then I kind of just drop it. And that's kind of what I did with the videos, but I don't want to do that anymore. So, today's the 27th, a Tuesday. So, we have a lot to talk about today. I want to talk about my evaluation. I want to talk about what I did today and why my evaluation, why I'm not being presented this Thursday, like as planned. So let's, I guess, go over the evaluation. It was over last Monday, 19th, the 20th, and the 21st of October were my evaluations. And I did every test under the sun for that evaluation. Monday on the 19th, it was there were a lot of very normal tests, a lot of tests that everyone would have done, like ultrasounds and x-rays and CAT scans and stuff like that. That was on Wednesday. But Monday, it was a lot of radiology. Go get CAT scans. We need, to do an ultrasound, an echo of my heart. And then, basically, it's like they didn't really do a lot around the lungs because they already know that the lungs are bad. So it was more focused around my heart and the rest of my body to make sure that it was okay for the surgery, for the procedure of a bilateral lung transplant. So a lot of it was actually based around the heart, now that I think back, because apparently that's the most important part to have healthy for recovery is your heart. And luckily, I have a perfectly healthy heart. They said that's to be expected. I'm 22 with no heart problems. Thankfully, cystic fibrosis does not affect your heart, as far as I know. So Monday I met with the pulmonologist. I had to do a lot of lung tests too. Just simple stuff like a pulmonary function test where it measures a couple different things. It measures how fast I could push air, how much air I can intake, how much I can outtake, stuff like that. I had to do a 6-minute walk, which tracked my oxygen levels. They had to do a blood gas test. Now normally when you get blood drawn, they draw it from your vein. This, because the blood in your veins has no oxygen in it. That's because it's going back to the heart to be pumped to the lungs to get oxygen. This particular blood they have to take from your arteries, which it doesn't sound that bad. However, there are a lot of nerves around your arteries that aren't necessarily around your veins. So in order to take blood from your arteries, they have to take it from where they feel your pulse in your wrist. So the pulmonologist will feel your pulse, and then basically they have to guess, because you can't see an artery. You can't see it. So they have to feel your pulse, either that or they're deeper. Point is, they're deeper in your arm to where they can't see it, like a vein. And I have good veins. Nurses love me for that reason. So what they have to do is they have to feel your pulse, and then with this pretty small needle, luckily, basically dig into your arm until they hit your artery. And I had to have this done twice because the first time it didn't work. And it is not necessarily painful at the time of it being done. It hurts for days. I probably hurt for 5 days, and there was a nice big bruise on my wrist from it for a while. So that's called the blood gas. That's where they measure the oxygen and the carbon dioxide and the nitrous oxide or whatever else is in your blood. Excuse me. Talking dries out my throat very quickly. So I had to get that done. Monday was more lung-centered stuff, like the PFT and the walk and the blood gas. Also got an echo of my heart, which is just an ultrasound of your heart. And the cardiologist said that that looked fine. Tuesday was probably my roughest day. Tuesday started out with the nuclear stuff, the nuclear medicine. I had to inhale radon, which is a noble gas. And what it did is, it's so cool. It was kind of intimidating when you hear something like nuclear medicine. That can be sort of intimidating. But what it did was I inhaled oxygen, and then when I inhaled, they pumped just like a syringe of radon into my lungs. And what that did was it kind of illuminates my lungs to this camera. And what it tested was how well how well oxygen was transferred into my bloodstream. So apparently it came back normal, you know. And I even asked them, I said, if they're wanting to throw these lungs in the trash, I said, why do they need this stuff done? And they said, I couldn't tell you, because it doesn't make sense to me either. So that's that. And also Tuesday I had to get what's called a heart cath, which I was not happy about. That was the worst experience of the whole evaluation. It was a catheter. Some of you may have heard when I mentioned a PICC line, or you may have heard it from my mother or something. I've had many PICC lines over the years, probably close to around 9 or 10 over the years since I was maybe 15. It's a catheter that goes into your arm right about here, and then goes up near your heart to get medicine into your heart, so that way it goes out to the rest of your body faster than it would if, say, an IV. But a heart cath is similar but different. It's a catheter. Both are catheters. This one has to go, and I probably still have the mark. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little red right here. That's the entry point. They go into your jugular. They feed a tube into your right valve, to your right atrium, and then what it does is your heart just keeps pumping, but it's a little string of sensors, and they look at the screen looking at all these numbers that your heart's feeding back, and then they say, okay, it's good. They pull it out and you're done. Well, this was the most painful thing I've experienced in a very long time. Not necessarily from them poking, prodding, catheterizing, you know, whatever. What hurt was, when I have a coughing fit, my neck muscles are severely used. I cough and this strains all these muscles in my body, in my neck and abs especially. And 30 minutes after this procedure's done, I break out into a terrible coughing fit and probably damage something in here. I kind of feel like I did. It feels better today, being a week later, but man. And everyone was in that room with me while I was having a coughing fit, just like grabbing my neck like this to try and ease the pain. It felt like my neck was going to explode. It was really, really painful. And which is why I also think my residual pain, you know, my days of even more pain, I think it was caused by that coughing fit, by immediately traumatizing the area even more severely than before. So that was by far the worst thing. However, through all that pain, my heart is fine, luckily. So I have a healthy heart. What they were really trying to test with the heart cath is, because your right atrium is where the blood goes to your lungs at. It goes, I don't remember how they said it exactly. It goes from your right atrium to the pulmonary vein, which goes to your lungs. And they were wanting to make sure that there was no blockage or overusage of that area. So, and apparently the heart cath can confirm that everything is working how it should and is healthy. So everything's good. And then I got to go home and I was mad for days. Next day, Wednesday, the 21st, it's my last day at the eval, was a breeze. This day was really easy. This was also the day we met with the surgeon. So we get there, I had to eat some eggs. One thing they wanted to do was a digestive test. And what they did was they fried me up some eggs, and they put some radioactive juice, I don't even know, some radioactive sauce on there for me. So I ate the eggs, and they took a picture of my stomach. And then this test lasts 4 hours usually, because what they do is you eat the eggs, then they take a picture every hour of your stomach to see how it digests, see at the rate of digestion, basically. They say it either takes 4 hours or until you digest 90% of the food. Luckily, I digested 90% of it in 2 hours, which was good. It wasn't a lot of food. It wasn't like it was an entire meal. You know, it was just like 2 eggs and some toast. It wasn't anything major, so I was able to digest in 2 hours, and they said, yeah, your digestion works fine. It doesn't, because my intestines don't get the nutrients, but my stomach digests the food fine. So they said, yeah, you're good there. And then from then on, I had to do a swallow test also, because apparently when you have a pulmonary disease, if you will, swallowing is a side effect of that, or a problem swallowing. So this was awesome. I had to lay on the table, and I had to drink all of these barium mixtures. Some of you may have had to do a swallow test before, so you might know what I'm talking about. It's with the live x-ray, you know, and you can actually see yourself swallowing the stuff, and that was really cool. I was able to watch the whole test. So that was pretty neat. And then I have this nasty taste of barium in my mouth all day. But after that, we got to meet the surgeon. Excuse me. That's what I do. That's me. You never know what's going to happen. You just got to cough it up. Because you definitely don't want to swallow that crap. No, it'll upset your stomach real bad. Because that stuff's it came from your lungs, it's supposed to come out. So if you cough it up to here, and you have to swallow it, now that crap is going to your stomach. Your stomach's like, oh, what is all this? I digress. We got to talk to the surgeon. Awesome guy. He was really nice. I have some video of me talking to him I'm going to put in. Let me see if I can set it up. This clip was him talking about how everyone looks at me a different way. So I'm going to put that in right now.
You know, you see a lot of people in this evaluation. You meet with a pulmonologist. And who's your pulmonologist, by the way?
Dr. Haddad.
You know, you meet with the social worker, the psychologist. You meet with pharmacy. You know, there's all sorts of people that you meet with. You know, we really consider these organs that are donated, extra special, and then, we want to make sure that all our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and that everything's going to work out for you from the very special gift that someone has given. So that's why we put you through all this evaluation. My standpoint as the surgeon, I want to make, everybody looks at you from a different perspective. I look at you from the perspective of, putting the lungs in and doing the transplant. So I want to know various things, like have you had chest tube, have you had pneumonia, what major infections have you had, have you ever had any surgery on your chest, things like that.
Okay, so that was the surgeon. He talked about just what it means to him, to meet me and whatnot. And everyone was there. See, people who joined me on my eval was my girlfriend, Caitlin, my mother, my grandmother, my mom's mom, grandmother, and my father drove down from Atlanta to be there with me. And that meant a lot. I was very happy he came down. So those were the 4 who were with me, and they seemed very happy. all the healthcare providers seemed happy that I had such a nice core group of people who came with me. So that was my evaluation. Now let me tell you about what happened today. Yeah, okay. Well, actually, let's go to yesterday. Yesterday, I got a call saying, hey, we saw something on your liver that we don't like, or that we want to further investigate, I'll say. Also, your testosterone's low. Come in tomorrow, get a shot of testosterone after rehab, and then Wednesday, because we don't have any time on Tuesday, come in for an MRI of your abdomen so we can see what's on your liver. And we're not going to be able to present you Thursday because we won't have your MRI results back until Friday or Monday or something. So now my presentation to the board is bumped back to November 5th. Yeah, so 1 week's not that bad. You know, it's not the end of the world. So I want to make sure they have all their, as the surgeon said, T's crossed and I's dotted. So yeah, so go for MRI tomorrow. I got this testosterone shot in my arm. I was supposed to get it in my butt because that's the way, that's just the muscle, the preferred muscle. But between you and me, I don't have much of a butt, so I don't have much muscle back there. But from going to rehab, I have grown some muscle in my shoulder. So I got a nice fat needle worth of testosterone in my shoulder, and now it feels like my arm's going to fall off because it hurts. It didn't hurt at the time, but now it's starting to just be real sore. Anyway, went to rehab, did good, did all my machines, walked, you know, pumped some iron, went to the hospital, got the shot, and then I went to a support group at the hospital today. Yeah, and saw some people who have had transplants and people who hadn't had transplants. And it was really neat to see people like me who, when I say people like me, I mean pre-transplant, and people who are post-transplant, because everyone has a different story, you know, and where they come from, you know what I mean. I was by far the youngest one there. All the other people looked like to be in their 50s or 60s. But then again, I think I was the only one there who had cystic fibrosis. They all had pulmonary fibrosis, but none of them had cystic fibrosis. And now that I'm thinking of it, I was gonna try to explain what the difference is, but I'm not sure if I know either. So I'll do some research on that and update you if I can. But yeah, that was my day and that was my evaluation. I'm so sorry didn't make a video sooner. I feel like I'm letting you down almost. But I'm gonna start doing more taking the camera with me videos like I did at first. I think that'd be a good idea. That also helps me from not having to do something like this where I sit in front of a camera and talk to you, but gives you a little more outside of just this room. But this is what I have for you now, so I hope it's enough. I hope you like it. If you have any questions, comment, you know, I'll respond, or message me, either one. If you don't want to put it in a public forum, you know, you just message me, and I'll be happy to answer them. But yep, thanks for watching, and maybe I could take you to get my MRI. Take you to get MRI with me. So, thank you, and I will talk to you soon.